where all your local news is, and not from 103 years ago. So, we know what has occurred in Kronstadt, but what is the truth? Here, we have someone who has experienced it firsthand.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. So I have a few questions for you. So, what really is the Kronstadt Uprising? How did it happen, and what did you hope to achieve from it?
Okay, so us sailors and peasant workers rebelled because we were tired. For 3 years, we were under strict economic rule, and the Civil War had left us hungry and bitter. Through these years, we faced material deprivations and grain seizures for the Reds. No one among us would have foreshadowed that these red monsters reinstated the laws of authoritarianism and communism. In the new regime, it seemed to completely violate the spirit of the revolution. The Bolsheviks set upon us moral slavery, and their policies worsened conditions. We've had to do something.
However, you once fought alongside these Bolsheviks. What changed? Why are you against Lenin now?
Well, we were avid supporters. I mean, how could we not be? It sounded so good. Hell, we even bombarded the Winter Palace with our proud gunship, the Aurora. After suffering for so long, all we wanted was to finally free ourselves, to be in control and not subject to the whim of an inbred family. We acted spontaneously. We were like cornered dogs. The Bolsheviks had wronged us with their war communism. We wanted the government to be more free, as the Reds originally promised.
How did you guys plan to dismantle an entire regime? What did you do?
I mean, we didn't really have a plan. We just thought about going beast mode through our protests. As everybody else followed mutiny, it increasingly became more violent until it was out of control. Then we centered our heroic effort around the
Petropavlovsk
and
Sevastopol
battleships frozen in the winter ice, which housed our bravest revolutionaries. On those ships, we formed the Provisional Revolutionary Committee led by Stefan Petrushenko. He, along with the voices of our future leaders, eventually came up with the
Petropavlovsk
revolution and the set of 15 demands that we wanted from our government. We didn't ask much, just basic democratic rights. We wanted freedom of speech and assembly, equal rations, and all innocent prisoners released. We only wanted to end war communism. Then, we sent the draft to the Kronstadt Soviets for review on March 1st.
And how did the Reds react?
What do you think? Talk to the Bolsheviks. They'll be much happier to discuss this. Unfortunately, our attempt to the uprising failed. We fled to northern Finland, where we are right now, but 2,000 of our men were captured by those stupid red pigs.
Now, let's move over to the other side. Here we have a pro-Bolshevik citizen who has witnessed the entire uprising as it unfolded. Dirty peasant, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Just harvested some beets.
That's great. So, you've remained loyal to the Bolshevik cause despite the extreme turmoil in Russia. What motivates his continued support?
That isn't the Bolsheviks' fault. It's those damn foreigners and Tsars. They don't care about me. They don't care about any of us. They only care about making a quick buck. The Bolsheviks are the only thing standing in place between the working class and exploitation. I mean, Lenin isn't perfect, but he's the best we've got. And I do genuinely believe in his promise of a better future.
What is your truthful opinion about what has happened in Kronstadt? I imagine you know about it already.
I really don't know why the sailors turned against the Bolsheviks, especially since just the other day, they were sucking up to them. I feel like they've always been unreliable. I mean, honestly, they ruined everything. They hindered the revolution.
What about the demands the sailors made requesting more freedom? Do you think that these demands would benefit working class citizens like you?
I don't know. I couldn't afford to go to kindergarten. Hell, I couldn't afford to go to school in general. I guess it would be bad because I don't like them. Can I go back to my beet farm now?
Yes. Go ahead, poor dirty peasant. Thank you for being on the show tonight. Now, it's time for a commercial break. Welcome back to Silly Billy Central. Here we have a loyal Bolshevik fighter here to tell her story. So, can you inform us about what happened on the scene?
Those nasty rebels, the sailors and workers led by Stefan Petrenko, didn't know what they were doing. It was a betrayal, plain and simple. Sure, they fought alongside us in 1917, but when things got rougher, they just ditched us. Their mutiny wasn't truly about freedom. They were just discontent because everyone was struggling. They didn't know that war communism was a necessity for survival during the Civil War.
Do you believe that they misunderstood the bigger picture?
Right, instead of staying strong as a brotherhood when everyone suffered, those useless pigs just lashed out. They called for what? Democratic freedoms and an end to Bolshevik control. How could they? What they called moral slavery was just masked BS. What we really hoped for was discipline, protecting the betterment of civilian lives. What they asked for wasn't realistic.
With all that frustration, how did you feel when it came to fighting at Kronstadt?
Well, we tried to respond to the demands of the resolution. On March 1st, over 16,000 of the comrades joined to discuss the papers. We couldn't believe that those hags were trying to tear us apart. When Pavel Vasilik, the chair, and Nikolai Kuzmin, the head of the Baltic fleet, threatened to punish the people, they were jailed. How did the sailors even gain control? I wonder this every day. Thankfully, Trotsky organized a military campaign of over 15,000 people to crush the revolutionaries. Don't know what bumped into our luck, but the Kronstadt Bay was, heck, rock frozen that day. It's just the darn climate there. I hope the ice freezes the remaining Kronstadt cowards. After all, they deserve to die. For us, it was important to crush the rebellion before the waters thawed, as that would allow the rebels to counterattack.
Hilarious. What happened next?
We were poorly equipped, so we were driven back at Kronstadt. Trotsky increased the troop numbers to 60,000, suggested white camouflage, and seized the area. Soon, the defenses of the naval fortress collapsed, and we charged on. I'm unsure of what happened to those hags. I heard 2,000 were taken back to Petrograd for execution. Do you know if that's true?
Do you think that the uprising changed anything for the Bolshevik government?
Policies definitely changed. Lenin's new economic policy came about, not because the rebels were right, but because we realized people needed agility. But let me be clear, the NEP was about being flexible with the economy, but not being weak politically. We gave folks a little bit more freedom in trade, but we tightened our grip on the political side to ensure that the Kronstadters would never rebel again.
So, you see the rebellion as a mistake?
For sure, our future was in danger, and we had to prioritize our nation.
Awesome. Thank you for your time. And that's the wrap for Silly Billy Central, where your news is super duper fresh, just like my divorce. That's all the time we have for today, folks. See you next time.